What's going on, guys?
Hello. Oh, wow. Like announces his presence with a background music and everything. That's fantastic. Like, this is how we do it. I'm so glad this works. Technology. Like 3 days of this was preparation of. I hope this works. All I have to do is press a button and things will happen. This is great. Maybe there's something to this social media, interweb stuff. Nice. Is it Charlie?
Yes.
You are wide on my screen right now because I think you're the one that's talking. No. Don't be sorry. That's just when everybody makes a noise, like that's when they become the biggest version. So if I had, let's see here, if I said Austin, if you said hello.
What's going on?
And then boom, he pops into the big screen. So nice, Austin. Austin, where are you from, man?
From West Cleveland. I'll be doing the Boardman District office.
Really? What office are you coming from? Are you from Josh's?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Tell Mr. Shikatano I said hello.
All right, I'll tell him you said that. I'll shoot him a text right now.
Yeah, that's great. I got Michael Foreman the second.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Michael, where are you coming from, sir?
I'm from Chicago.
Oh, excellent. I'm in the makings of trying to get out to your summer prep.
Oh, nice.
Now, how far, because are you like zip code Chicago?
Yeah, we are.
How far are you? Is it like, what's the name of the town of summer prep?
I think it's in Schaumburg.
What is it?
I think it's Schaumburg.
Schaumburg? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's like 40
How
minutes
far
from
is
the
it from you?
city. Like 40 minutes.
40, yeah. Gotcha, cool. Welcome from Chicago. We got Kristen that popped up. Does Kristen have a picture? There she is.
I'm driving.
Oh, you're driving. Oh, no.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Is this the most safe of things? I don't know if this is, if you speed, am I an accessory to speeding?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't think that's.
No, but I think I'm going to take the video off and set it down so I'm not holding my phone while I'm driving.
Yeah. We could also not drive. I don't know. That might be a. We got Greg. Where's Greg at? Who's walking around the house? Anthony.
Hey, John.
How you doing?
I've been good. How about you?
Great. Where are you coming from?
Atlanta.
Atlanta. Nice. Have we met before?
Yeah, Trey's office.
That's it. You look super familiar. I'm like, wait, I think I know him. Excellent.
Yeah, when I saw your picture on the Megan's email, I got a little excited. I was like, oh, yeah, I know him. I haven't seen him forever.
That's great. Very cool. I'm excited to have you aboard.
Yeah, appreciate it.
For those who are on the call this far, Shelby had sent out this on a PDF. Who was able to actually print that out or, have it to be able to type on it? Got that. Did she send out this one? Because this is really what the premise of the entire talk is. This should have been sent out, or maybe it was even posted to your Facebook page.
I got it.
Yeah, Everett Burns.
Great.
Everett Burns
And who's that speaking right there?
Oh, hi, I'm Patrick.
Right here. You've got it holding up, and you've got the hoodie on with the blue hoodie.
Blue hoodie?
Yeah, that's you. What does it say?
Oh, me? Is that me, Joseph Anton?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Where did you get that?
I think Everett posted in one of our groups on Facebook. He posted it, so
Okay.
I just printed it out from there.
Great, yeah, because that's going to really be the premise of the message, and we can send this out, or I'm sure it can be online. But what was it? Joseph just said that if you want to repeat that, or you know what you could do, Joseph, to help me out,
Yeah.
you could go to the chat and say, because there's a circle of that Shelby had sent out, and it's moderately similar, but this is just the final product of what we're going to work with, and that's what it was called, the recruitment process, and it's got like a circle with squares behind it. So Joe, if you could share that in chat of where to find that.
All right, let me see how I can do this. Do I have to go on the Facebook thing and actually find it?
Just literally right here on this Zoom, and at the very bottom, you're going to see mute, stop video, invite, and then there's also chat. Do you have
I'm
that
on my phone, so I don't think I have that. I have participants, but I don't have anything else like that.
Oh, it's like,
Oh.
Can you scroll over?
Yeah, I think. All right, I have chat. Send to everyone. There we go.
Yeah, send everyone. Hey, there's everyone.
There we go.
So now I can see everyone. I can't necessarily hear you, but if you do have this printed out, could you just hold it up to the screen if you have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There
How
we go.
about this? If you don't have it printed out, but you have it in front of you, can you do a thumbs up if you have it in front of you? Perfect. And if you don't have it in front of you, could you do the thumbs down? Okay, gotcha. So Joe, if you could send in the chat where to find that.
I haven't been a student in 5, 6 years. Wait a minute.
The cool thing is that this talk is going to be or is being recorded. So after, like, let's say this is the first dose of it, you just kind of listen and take down some solid notes in the worst case. But then after you can read it, you can print it out and then fill in stuff. Using it as a multiple source there, not just for today. So it's 4:03. I'm going to give 90 more seconds. Then we're going to jump right into it because we do have some great content, and then also being able to have some Q&A after, and I'm excited for that. Random round of hello-ness. Marlena Booth, where are you from?
I am from Waterford, Michigan, and I'll be running the Waterford office this summer.
Very nice. Midwest. I love the Midwest. I am doing my best to get out there for summer prep. I missed my first year on banquet I've missed in 15 years was this past year. So, and that was at Midwest. So I'm going to get back out there for the event.
Whoa. Can't wait to meet you in person.
Yes. And I got Ryan Suplee in the upper right-hand corner, but I know that that's not Ryan because Ryan's in the back of our office at the national headquarters right now.
Yeah, I'm using his Zoom account because I was using it for training and it just never logged off. You can call me Ryan if you want. It's easier than my real name.
Imposter. What is your first name?
Kavi.
So you're going to take over the old Gloucester office.
Yep. Yeah.
All the stuff is there. So me and you should connect at some point.
Oh, definitely. I would love that.
Have you been to that office yet?
I haven't had a chance to go over there yet just because it is like an hour and a half from where I'm from originally. But I do plan to go over there in April, and we're working on fixing the lease up for sure. For the summer
I'd love to chat with you about that office specifically, and we'll go into details on more of a one-on-one.
Definitely. I would love that.
Great. Awesome. Last couple of here I got, is it Aaliyah? I like that. Did I pronounce that properly?
You did. Thank you. I got it for my birthday.
Aaliyah. That's great. Aaliyah, where are you from?
I am from Iowa.
Iowa? Nice. Mm-hmm. So I went to Rutgers, Iowa about a month ago, and in Rutgers, where Iowa hit the game-winning buzzer beater. Do you follow college basketball at all?
I don't. I really should. But
it was so good because Rutgers was so excited, and then at that last 0.3 seconds, Iowa hits a buzzer beater, and everybody was just like, they just left the court. Great. Well, not great for Rutgers, but pretty good for Iowa.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. All right. Well, hey, guys, check this out. I really appreciate everyone being on the call. And right now, to prelude the message, if you could get into a quiet place, I know some of you are driving or maybe are in your car, and, hey, it's better than not doing anything. But a lot of the talks that you're going to go to is showing up the right way, because you can sit there and take down a ton of notes and you can really be engaged. But if we haven't shown up the right way, meaning setting yourself up for the best, it's like a slight version of what you could do. And I just appreciate each and every one of you of being on the call. You know, some of you are early. It looks like some of you are ready to rock and roll. And I'm just excited to be able to speak to each and every one of you. As you know, Shelby's out of town. She's been traveling. And she asked me about a month ago to take this over. And I was pumped because I do work a lot with newer managers, some branches and some districts and some DVMs. So it's really cool to get this. I believe right now we have 26 participants. And this is being recorded. So I'm just excited to have this next 30 to 45 minutes with you. With that being said, my name is John Fiacco, and Shelby did send out a bio on that one. Just a quick lowdown. I'm from upstate New York, Syracuse area. I've been in the business for over 14 years, about to be 15 years in June. As far as career sales go as a district, it's just about $13 million. I've lived in a few different states and trained a lot of people, and I love this business and what it can do for people. But I don't view this business as a knife business. I view this business as a development of people business. So for the next 45 minutes, I'm not going to talk to you about how to get better at simply just selling knives. It's really going to be about personal development. The results of this business can be really in your favor, and just getting better. So when you leave here, right now, the next 45 minutes, like when you leave here, you can then pour into other people's cups. But right now, you don't have to pour into anyone's cup. Turn your phone off for texts, leave all alerts off, and just focus on you for the next 45, or so minutes. And that's super important because you cannot give what you do not have. And you've probably heard these things, but for the next 45 minutes, you get to just fill your cup up with all this goodness. So when you leave this call, at 5 o'clock or 5:01, or depending on what time zone you're in, you're going to then be able to give better to other people. So I want to begin off and thanking you, for your effort, and for your time thus far. And the whole sheet today, the whole walkthrough is going to be the KRA. And some of you probably are aware of what the KRAs are, or some of you may not have any idea what they are, but the KRA is a key result area. And that's going to be the diagram that we're going to be walking through, and I'll pull that up here in a few minutes. For about 30, they say to the next 30, 40 minutes or so is going to be content. Then I'm going to walk you through some stuff, and then we're going to follow up with about 15 minutes or so of Q&A. This is going to be a lot on the front end. I'd rather come out strong out of the gates on the front end, and you can take away anything that you get from this. But this is being recorded for a reason, and Shelby will post this, whether it be a YouTube or however you guys do it, so you can revisit it. And maybe you just revisit one section at a time. Maybe when you get your sheet for your KRAs, you don't try to do the whole thing. You just listen to 15-minute increments. And it's a tool for learning, so you can pull from that, for the future. If and when you all hear nuggets, hopefully more when and not if you hear nuggets, takeaways, something that you come up with a question on, feel free to go to the chat. And the chat is at the lower part of it. And you'll have the mute, you'll have the stop video, the invite, the managing participants, yada, yada, yada. And then you go to chat. So when you go into chat, for example, I'm going to chat there now and say anyone with takeaways or nuggets or questions, please write it here. And at the end of it, we can all look through the nuggets, but if it's a question, I can then look at the question and say, okay, hey, let's talk about that at the end. So that will be your way. Instead of holding on to your questions, let's write them all down. If we don't get time to cover your questions on this call, I am more than happy for a 15 to 30-minute one-on-one FaceTime or Zoom to clarify anything. And literally, I'll offer that to 27 people on this call, that if I can give you 15 minutes to clarify things, that's my seriousness in this, and I'll totally follow through. I just want to make sure that the content isn't in one ear and out the other. All right, so as we go here, guys, we're not looking to conquer the world today. I know you're super ambitious. We're young entrepreneurs. You can sell anything to anybody. You can open up an office in whatever part of the country, but you're all on the call. And we're all here ready to improve ourselves and move forward, but we're not looking to conquer the world. So I want you to think, of what's called the process. And the process, can everybody see this okay? I can only see a few of you. So if those four, if you can see it, can you give me a thumbs up, or anybody just give me a thumbs up? Okay. So I want you to think of today as being the process, and it's a system. And the process of something is to really just be aware of it first and foremost. And then once you're aware of something, you then can step backward to learn about it. And then once you've taken the time to really learn and educate yourself, you then look to make a plan. From that plan, you then will execute. And then from this execution, you will then look to analyze. And analyze is just a heightened way of being aware of things. And this whole entire call is really designed around this right here, being aware. So we're not looking to formulate a plan. We're not looking to execute anything for today. It's really just to increase your awareness to then look at these things and how they move. As a manager, by the way, I would be aware that something was going on and I would jump right to execution. It's like we would have people no-show to an interview and I would literally go on campus for 4 hours by myself. While I increased my love tank and value, I forgot to learn why people weren't showing. I did not formulate an educated plan. I just reacted. And while this served pretty well for many years, it was a reaction. It wasn't a logical response. So I want to be able to teach you that the process is awareness, which is today. We're going to learn about this stuff, educate today. We're also going to go into planning, and you can do that today or tomorrow, execute for the next X amount of months, and then take a step back and look at where you're at. All right. Well, I won't show you that just yet because you'll be skipping ahead of me. Look at that. Okay, think about when you guys create a level of awareness to yourself. What it does is it allows for greater amounts of hope. When you have hope, a strategy emerges, and when you have a strategy, your growth then transpires. And this is going to help you operate from a strength zone. So getting better in the areas will help you now in the summertime, but it's getting better here now. So no matter where you are right now, if I'm going through this stuff and you have no idea, oh my gosh, I stink at that, I don't even know what that is, that's totally fine because you have a ton of support around you. You literally have 25 people on this call besides me. You've got division managers, district managers, region managers, etc., to be able to help you out. One theme that I want to help you guys understand is that you are 100% control of you at all times. You cannot control other people. You are in 100% control of you. What you say, what you do, what you eat, what you wear, you are in control. The things that you are not in control of are other people. But if you can control yourself, you have the ability of having stronger influence on other people. So control for self to influence other people. You're going to make a ton of mistakes. You're going to fall down, but I want you to learn with grace. I want you to learn how to pick yourself up, giving yourself a little bit of leeway. And while you pour into your cup today, you'll be able to pour in your cup to other cups for the summertime. Learn with grace. Give yourself a little leeway. So this is what's called the recruiting process, okay? And right now I'm going to focus on this section right here. So right here, recruiting is number 1. And I want you to write down, if you don't have this in front of you, you can write down recruiting, right? Number 1, process or purpose. What is your definition of the purpose of recruiting? If you were to define it for me, what's your definition? This would be like the textbook term that you would describe, hey, this is what recruiting is. There's no wrong answers. It's just a matter of you defining what it really is. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip down, and at the very bottom of my page, the purpose, this would be like the definition of it, recruiting. I want you to compare your answer to this answer. Driving awareness to your business, creating interest, and generating applications. So I want you to think of recruiting as you are the driver. You are in control. And you're in control of how much effort and time you put into it. You are the one that's creating interest, and you are the one that's generating applications. Now, there's other ways that you don't have control of to generate applications. Those just come to you. Mailers, web advertising, Craigslist. But the recruiting aspect is that you can be in control, not necessarily as far as full control, but you can definitely have control of your time and effort. You can't necessarily have control of the results. So the purpose, the definition of recruiting would be driving awareness to your business, creating interest, and generating applications. Now, the specific activities, okay, how do I actually do this? And you probably already have some formulated ideas. So specific activities, so you have 2 subcategory ABC. These are going to be 3 things that you have specific control over. Again, not of results, but of effort. And those 3 things are social media, SM, personal recruiting, PR, active advertising, on and off campus. I just put down as AA. So the purpose of this exercise for recruiting is to generate and drive awareness to your business and the control that you have over it, social media, personal recruiting, and active advertising. Notice that mailers, notice that web and Craigslist are not under that, although they are forms of advertising. You don't really have the control or influence over any of those. These you specifically do. And the more effort you put into this, the better of a recruiter, the better of the recruiting process you have. All right, the third part about this is going to be why it is important. Now, believe it or not, what you put for the purpose and the definition is why it's important to you. The purpose is like the definition, and why it is important has a personal element. So whatever your answer is for number 1, that's typically your number 3. Like, why is it important to you? The purpose would be driving awareness to your business, but like you might have said, this influences the quality or also the amount of applications. So why is recruiting important to you? That is the personal element. The purpose would be the actual definition. So I had you start off with the purpose because that's really your personal element. All right, number 4 right here is level of competency. That is on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, 1, okay, is I've never heard of this before. So if you were to put down a 1 next to something, that means I've never heard of this. I've never even done it before. If you put down a 5, that's like I've got moderate knowledge, but I've got little application, but I've heard it before. And number 10 is like I'm a master at this. I've got true understanding, but there is no room for improvement. Now, obviously, there's 2 to 3 to 4. There's 6, 7, 8. So I want you to rank the 3. So with SM, social media, and that's a little space right there. If you have the sheet, and if not, right next to it, what's your level of competency? My level of competency on social media is blank based on these 3 things. Never heard of it, moderate, or mastery. What would you say? All right, letter B, which is PRs. What's your level of competency with PRs? And be honest, this isn't a grade where you're going to get in trouble or you're going to fail. Just be honest with yourself. Where am I at? Right now. And then lastly, active advertising. On campus, putting out posters, business cards, tables, etc. So you should have those 3 numbers. In order for you to know where you want to go, which is the next step, you've got to know where you are. I'll repeat that. In order for you to know where you want to go, you've got to know where you're at. And that's why it's finding out what this is, the purpose of it, the exact activities, why it's important. But then, hey, how are you at these things? So you should have 3 numbers on 1 to 10 for social media, PR, and active advertising. All right, that is where you are. Step now is, hey, where do you want to go? We're not talking about moving this number. Let's say, for example, this number was a 7. We're not looking to necessarily move that to a 10. We're looking to move that 10%. What does an 8 look like? If your social media right now was a 3, cool. Thank you for being honest. What does a 4 look like? That means that what is one step you can take to improve by 10%? Make it a 3 to a 4, a 6 to an 8, a 6 to a 7, a 7 to an 8. And go ahead real quick and jot that down. I could, ... It might be asking somebody. It might be watching a video. It might be observing. What can I improve? What's one actionable step to improve by 10%? How can I go from a 0 to a 1, or excuse me, a 1 to a 2? That's all. All right, with PRs, let's say, for example, your PR was a 7 or a 9. I mean, it's tough to be a 9 as where we're at. Let's call it a 6. Not to diminish anybody on PRs at being a 9, but as a first-year branch, maybe not having run it yet, I'd be like, I'm a 9 in PRs. Be like, all right. So if you're a 6, how do you become a 7? Now with PRs, it's tricky because PRs isn't just, oh, it's the PR. It's Facebook, it's calling, it's texting, it's how can I just get better at PRs? And just don't overthink it. Just what's one area right now that, here's the thing, you've probably been thinking about it for the last couple of days or a week that you've avoided it. And what's that thing that you've avoided about PRs? What if we just got curious about that? Yeah, I should probably come in and just watch my manager do that. Yeah, I should actually text somebody next time I say I'm going to do that. All right, the third thing is going to be active advertising. Same exact concept, everyone. I think that we can kind of speed up the process a little bit. Hey, if you're a 5 at active advertising, what can bring you to a 6? What is one actionable step that can bring you to a 6? I'm going to go tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. with my manager to X University. That's it. It may not seem glorious, but to know how to do something and to improve, oof, that's like jet fuel. So I can only see a few people at a time, and I'm going to go based on those 4 as my sample size. That's the whole part of recruiting, and I'm going to go through interview training and development a little bit quicker because this is the first one to go through. But as I go through, if there's nuggets that were brought up, if there was questions that were brought up, again, don't forget to put those in the check box or in the chat box, excuse me. But how was that first going through this right here, the recruiting process, the step? If you got a thumbs up for, hey, that was pretty solid, I got a good understanding to it. Maybe you knew this stuff, maybe you didn't, whatever. Just all I'm really looking to do for today is improve your awareness by 10%. I mean, if everyone on this call went out and improved by 10%, heck yeah. If half of you go out and improve by 10%, oh, heck yeah. And if one of you went out and improved by 10%, I'll take it. All right, now we're going to jump on to the interview. I'll be more specific here with the purpose. I'm going to actually give you the purpose. So for the interview, so you take the recruits and then now you bring them into an interview. That's why it's step 2. It funnels into it, okay? The interview, ready? The purpose of the interview, if you can see this, is to show to your training with proper expectations. And I ask a lot of people that if we had a call one-on-one, I would ask you what your purpose of the interview is. And it's like, oh, to inform and to make people feel comfortable and to, give them information and to tell them about Cutco. Hey, those are all fantastic. But the core that the job isn't done unless people show to your training with some expectations. Now, I'm not saying to show to your training to sell expectations. It's showing to your training really simply as like dressed professional. They're 10 to 15 minutes early. They have a pen and a paper. They brought a snack or some water. Like, here's what to expect. I got to tell you, nothing's worse than running a full week's worth of interviews. And then you have people show up and they're like, yeah, like I'm here for that thing. And it's like, you mean training? And they're like, yeah. It's like, why are you in shorts and flip-flops? Where's your pen and paper? Oh, like this is like that? I know right away that I didn't interview that person, but also that it hurts our credibility as an offense. It's not that person's fault. So you want to make sure it's proper expectations. Hey, you definitely want to show up on time. On time is 10 to 15 minutes early. You don't want to beat traffic. You want to dress for success. Notebook, paper, and yep, definitely bring a snack with you. And I think that when they walk in the office with times, how to show up, what to look like, how to be prepared, that is a definition of showing up to work versus they showed up to a building called work They actually showed up to work. And there's a difference between a noun to a verb, an action statement. Okay? What are the specific activities of an interview? Think real quick to yourself, specific activities of an interview, and I'll simplify it for you. Specific activities of an interview would be the pre-screen. That's where you bring them in the back. That's really your, hey, I'm John Fiacco. I'm the district manager of the Gloucester County office. Welcome to your interview. I'll be meeting with you in a few minutes. And then you sit down with them and you walk through a pre-screen. And then you have your group or like the bulk interview. So whether you're doing an interview via video, you're doing an interview via group with paper, with that bulk section where you go through the majority of the interview. And then you've got the post screen where you accept. The objective of the acceptance of the post is to accept. Those would be the 3 prongs of the interview. Go ahead real quick and write down the important. Like, why is the interview, why is that important to you? Or why do you think the interview would be important? Go ahead and write that down because that's your answer. This is the personal element. The purpose is to have them show to your training with proper expectations. You do it through a pre-screen. You do it through a group bulk interview, and then you do it through an acceptance. But why is that important to you? Why would you say the interview is important to you? For example, I wrote down, hey, it gives a face of you, the office, the company. It sets the intentions. And this is the first part of reality. You know, like right now they're getting text or they get a letter in the mail. It's like, what is this? But as soon as they step foot in your office building, that's a reality. And then that's the first sense of seeing human beings. That's what I wrote down. But I want you to write your answer of the interview. Like, hey, why is this important to me? All right, next step is the competency. Let's just take it overall of an interview. Let's assume pre, group, and post, because typically you don't do a pre and not an interview. Typically you don't do a group and do a pre and a post. Typically you do all 3. So right now, everyone just write down a scale of 1 to 10. What's your competency on an interview? Pre, post, with the group involved, on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is I've never done it, never even heard of an interview before. That'd be weird for you to be on this call. I'm not judging you. 5 would be I've got moderate. I've ran 1. I think I get it. And number 10 is like I've ran interviews for 10 years. I've ran 10,000 interviews. I have 100% show. No one will ever be there, by the way. All right. And then you got it. What's one actionable step to improve your interview? And think of it as a whole. We're not looking for you to go from a 2 to a 10. We're not looking for you to go to a 5 to a 10. We're looking for you to go to a 3 to a 4. A 4 to a 5, a 6 to a 7. What is one actionable step? Observe, review your notes, print them out, watch another interview. What's an actionable step to improve your interview? How are we feeling out there? You got some thumbs up? Everybody feeling good? It's okay if you're not feeling good either. Fake it. You could be like thumbs up with this hand and then like off the screen, you're like, no. Like, all right. Feeling good. I love feeling good. It feels good to feel good. All right, number 3 is training. The purpose of training, all right, is to launch with quality demos your first weekend. 3 prongs. Launch with quality, not just qualified, but for example, my uncle and aunt were quality because, 30, 60 married, owned a home. But like my mom was not married and then she didn't own a home, but she was a quality demo and she bought. So there have to be rules and exceptions, right? Quality demos, but the first weekend. So if you're thinking about your training, it all evolved and revolved around 3 things. These people are here to launch. They're here to have quality demos, and they're here to do it this weekend. And the amount is up to you. But those are the 3 purposes of training. The specific activities of training, okay? So the ABCs of training, the seminar. That is where they come into day one and they leave on the last day with a kit. No matter how many days you do, no matter the hours you do, it's a seminar. When they leave with a kit, that then becomes their first weekend, and that is first weekend PDI. That's a part of training. First weekend PDI is unlike any other PDI you'll ever do. And then to kind of put a stamp of approval on the training is your advanced training. Why is that important to you? Why would training be important? Why is training important? Build my team, create culture. John, I've never even thought of that. Cool. This is the time to do it right now. You're right where you need to be right now. If this is the first time you're ever hearing this, awesome. If this is the 10th time you've heard of it, awesome. All right. Now, again, the level of competency, let's do overall. Overall. And you might be like, I'm at a 3. Like, I've never even ran any parts of training, but I've taken a PDI call from somebody who literally launched. Or it's I've only observed training. I'm at like a 2. Hey, I'm at a 5. I've watched 3 to 5 parts of training. I've even ran names and uses. Like, I feel like I've got a general flow of it. Cool. Just be honest with yourself. Where are you at? As like an overall. And then with you and your manager, you can sit down and just say, hey, like on the seminar, I'm a 2. On first week in PDI, I'm a none. I have never even done it. And on advanced training, I'm a 1. That's fine too. Just you want to gauge yourself of where you're at with the carry is a key result area. Not to freak yourself out, but you know what? Some of you might only run 1 or 2 trainings. Some of you might run a half of a training before you run your branch. That's okay. We prefer more, but hey. And then what's one actionable step? What can you do with your manager and sit down and talk with him or her in the next couple of days and say, hey, what's one actionable step to go from a 3 to a 4 in training? And it might take you coming in and watching. It might take you to observe a couple of PDI calls. What's one actionable step? I went through a little quicker with interview and training because the most relevance of this call is going to be the recruiting and development. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to spend simply on development. But I've got a few people online. How are we feeling about the training? The flow, a little bit of a better understanding? Cool. And if you're like, man, that's in depth, I need more time, love it. Just to create awareness. We weren't looking to go from a 0 to 60, a 1 to a 10. We're looking to improve by 10% overall. All right, the last part of it, which everything funnels into, you've got recruiting, which funnels into the actual interview, which funnels into training. And then once they step foot after their fast start, we're now talking about development. Now, the purpose of development is, very specific to some. It's general to others. I came up with a definition, and I'm open to hearing others' definitions, right? But the definition that I've lived by is it's ongoing training. When I'm developing somebody, I'm really ongoing their training. Training never stops. But check this out. Look at the second part. This is what I really lived by for over a decade of running an office, was I'm advancing them. Like my definition is I'm advancing them as people, personally and professionally. Would you agree that, you don't have to agree, but can you see that development of our people isn't just improving them how to get better at selling Cutco? It's like developing them better in life, time management, goal setting, confidence. Even as assistant managers, if anybody's ever ran an office before and this is your second branch, or if you've not ran an office, has anyone ever looked at you and been like, wow, thank you so much. That really helped me out. Have you experienced that feeling even just for 10 seconds? Magnify that by 1 million as a branch. Well, maybe 500,000. One person smiled. That was great. Yes, you blonde, white shirt, blonde hair. That's you. Yes, you. Yeah. Thank you for smiling. Make me feel better. All right, ready? The specific activities of ongoing training. Ready for this? PDI. Team meetings. PCs. This topic alone is an hour conversation. PDI is personal, daily interaction. Team meetings, and then personal consultations. The key word is personal. You develop people through personal, and then you put the cherry on top of the team meeting. The biggest and best way to influence your entire team daily is your PDI. No one is more important than the other, because having a conversation over the phone is great because it's 2, 3, 4 minutes. Having a 20-minute PC and then having a team meeting. So they all serve their purpose. But the number one way to influence your team daily is PDI. So I'd love you to talk to your manager about, what's my PDI program this summertime? How many people could you talk to daily in the morning time and be quality? 10 minutes per person, 6 minutes per person, 20 people? What would be the amount of time allotted for a proper PDI call? About, and this isn't first weekend PDI. This is like, how are you? What's going on? How's your day going? Okay, cool. Let's check up with demos. Awesome. I want to give you a couple quick reminders. Let's drive. Typically 15, 20, 25 if you're a veteran. Daily. The team meeting is awesome because you get the whole entire team there. Like, you can't manufacture a group environment on a phone. You can't manufacture. It's like when somebody goes to a concert and they're like, check this out. I was at the Weezer concert last night. They played this song, and they show you their phone and you're like, were you in the back row? Like, I don't understand. And you're like, no, I was in the front row. I was just up above and it was amazing. Like, that's trying to show somebody that the team meeting concept in a one-on-one PC. That's like trying to show a team meeting and explaining over the phone. The team meeting culture is amazing because you can point on other people to teach your people for you. Hey, Sarah, you sold $3,000 last week real quick. How'd you do that? Can you give us 2 quick tips? Oh yeah, I called in for PDI and I showed, married customers. It's like, oh my gosh, Sarah, it's amazing. And then your team is being taught through your team. The power of PDI is amazing because it's daily influences. And then they get into a team meeting and they're like, oh my gosh, this is real. The PC, honestly, I'll be upfront with you. You may not be able to do a PC your first summertime. If you did quality PDI daily, like honestly, if you talk to them 4 to 5 times out of the week, quality combos, and you had a good to a great team meeting once a week as a singular branch manager with no help, you may not be able to do PCs. You would have a couple of people come in to help you out. You may grab lunch with them, you may grab a cup of coffee, but you're only one person. And if you're crushing A and B, you may not have it. If you've got some help as a veteran or a turning branch and you've got one assistant manager, you may be able to pop out 2, 3, 4, 5 PCs a week. It wasn't until I was a veteran manager and a fully effective that I was able to execute all 3. But right now it's PDI on a daily basis and you crush team meetings. And hey, if you can add in PCs, awesome, as long as it is quality time. Please do not just do PCs to do them, because I'd rather have you do more PDI. Heck, you can FaceTime PC people. Like what we're doing right now, you can have PCs that way. That's how I do all of my calls, is one-on-one via FaceTime, because you can see, hear, and view the person in front of you. All right? Why is it important? Why is the development portion important to you? The definition of it is ongoing training and advancing them personally and professionally. We do it through PDI, we do it through team meetings, we do it through PCs, right? Why is that important? Why is development important? Why would you want to put a lot of time into development? Why is it worth your time to spend an hour to 90 minutes a day communicating with your team? Why is it important to plan for 90 minutes for a 90-minute team meeting? There's no wrong answer. It is completely your answer, but I'd love to have you define it. Why is that important to you? From my perspective, what I wrote down is that this assists any and everything from PDI and team meetings. So the purpose of development assists everything What I talk about on PDI and what I talk about at team meetings, everything is assisted to one another. Now, check this out. What you promote in a group, solidify on a one-on-one. That's why it's important to me. I can promote at a team meeting, the conference, the phone jam, and I can say that the team's going to crush it, knowing that I don't have one person signed up for it. I've got 15 people in front of me, and I don't have one person signed up for the conference except for me. And I can say the team is already signing up because I am a part of the team. I'm not lying. I'm just like, I don't have anybody there. So I promote the heck of it in a group. And then guess what I do on Thursday morning, PDI? Hey, like I said last night at the team meeting, we're going to invite people to our team, and I'm considering you for that. I just wanted to ask you on a one-on-one, in person, how do you feel about that? If I were to invite you to the team, if I were to invite you to this conference, is that something you'd be excited about? This isn't an invite, but I just want to gauge you. How do you think? Oh my gosh, the team. And you have one-on-one conversations for multiple days in a row. And by the end of the week or 3 days later or whatever the case is, 2 weeks later, from one person, you being signed up and promoting it in a group-like atmosphere, you've got 10 people signed up. So you promote in a group and you solidify on a one-on-one. All right, what's your level of competency? Let's go with PDI real quick. What's your level of competency in PDI? One is I've never even heard of PDI. 5, moderate. I've heard it, but I've never actually done it. I've got little application. I've taken a call. All right, team meetings. What's your competency on team meetings right now? I've actually never ran a team meeting by myself. Totally cool. Do you know how to write an agenda? Do you know what goes into a team meeting? This is meant to bring awareness, not to overwhelm. And how we decrease overwhelm is increase awareness. And from awareness draws hope. And from hope, a strategy emerges. And from a strategy, growth transpires. What's your competency on a PC? Have you ever sat down one-on-one with somebody and done a PC? Now, each and every one of these 3, not to sound overly robotic as a manager who demands results, but the whole entire purpose, ready, of each and every one of these, PDI, team meetings, and PCs, that you've done your job if and when the people after these events or even during it, okay, create demonstrations. I am not saying that is the only thing, but the job is to create demonstrations. And I do that through rapport. How are you doing? Tell me about you. What's going on? How's your day? Awesome. Let me share some hot news and recognition. What's going on with your schedule? Let's review that. When's your next phone time? Here's a couple of events. That's a PDI call and a team meeting. If you can do PDI, you can do a team meeting. But the objective going into it is that we need to generate business for them. So if I'm leaving them, but they don't have a clear-cut plan of when they're doing the activities next, we're missing the boat for our people. So hear me right. I'll repeat that one last time. So the only objective of PDI is demos. That is incorrect. It is the main objective of PDI. So if I don't leave with the time that they're scheduling demos, I have not done my people the right way. But I do that through how are you, recognition, instructional teaching, event-to-event management, etc. So what's your competency with PDI, team meetings, and PCs? And then lastly, as you guys can probably assume, what is your one actionable step that you can improve a 4 to a 5, a 3 to a 4, 6 to a 7? Watch, observe, sit down, come in the office early. Ask my manager, what is a PC? Ask my manager, how do I do a PC? Like, I know what it is, but how do you do it? Hey, at a team meeting, I've been to dozens of them, but what does an agenda look like for a team meeting? Yeah, I've crushed PDI. How do you really drive PDI? Like, I've taken PDI, I've assisted calls and whatnot, but how do you drive PDI? You see the difference between the two? Taking it as, hey, I have vector PDI, cool, awesome, great, awesome, talk to you later. Driving PDI as, what do we have planned for today? I am so excited for you to take it to the next level. Hey, bring out your schedule. Let's take a look at what you have going on for tomorrow. Drive PDI. And who do we do all this for? We do it for them, because that's what we said we were going to do when they came into an interview. We're going to make you better. And if you truly believe that, that's where magic happens. All right. So that's the development process, or the recruiting process. Recruiting dumps into the interview, dumps into training, and then everything goes to development. That is one cycle. You can focus on doing that weekly, sometimes daily, weekly, daily, and you just pour into people and you be there for them. Oh, magic happens. I don't care what your CPO is. I don't care if you sell $27,000 or $270,000. I genuinely mean that. As long as you're showing up the right way, pouring into people's cups, and just having a great time along the way. Doesn't mean having a great time is selling a lot. You could sell Cutco and not be good at this job. And you cannot sell Cutco and be awesome at this position. Obviously, we want to strive to do our best and improve. I realize that there's things on here that aren't being mentioned. For example, admin, how to enter my sales report, how to do base pay, how do I write a check to people for a receptionist, how do I hire a receptionist? Those are all important. But what I would focus my time and energy on is that those things can be learned in minutes, and you don't have to be around other people to do it. Like to submit a sales report, you can do that in 3 minutes and nobody has to be around. You can do it at 8 o'clock, you can do it at 3 o'clock, you can do it at midnight. But these are the things, are the key result areas that if you do these the right way, you will drive your business. It's simply about your effort and your attitude. Your attitude is based on your perception. Is this a heaven or is this a hell? Is this a mountain or is it a molehill? That's the power about being a manager. Your perception's everything. So what I've given you guys is the basic framework. We're now going to jump into the next 10 to 12 minutes of questions. Let's see, how do I do this? Boom, boom, boom. Stop share. There it is. All right, cool. So we've got a couple things here. Okay. Miranda, solid. Okay. What was solid? What was your takeaway? Patrick, is it Woodring? Expectations nugget. Be specific with your nuggets. What was specific about that? Set your expectations in the interview nugget. That's great. Marlena, hey, I want you to come this, and this way. Welcome to our team. Aaliyah, quality demo nugget. Great. That if you just qualify people, hey, they're 25 and above or 30 and above, and you get the minimums. But if we only harp on max, you might miss a few people along the way. So promote Mac, right? But then there's exceptions, and those exceptions are talked to on a one-on-one. All right, so Leah, one more time. So our striving here is a Mac customer, first weekend, et cetera. Now, there are people in your life who are really quality demos. Again, we're talking about appointments and demos. We're not talking people. So your Uncle Bill, who is a fireman, who's the best person on earth, I'm not saying he's not a quality person. I'm just saying that for your first weekend demonstrations, you want to focus on a demographic who is 30 to 60, married, and that. You can also see Uncle Bill after it. But if you've got any questions on the stuff, please come and see me on a one-on-one. I never want to discuss personal things in a public forum. And then they come and describe it to you, and you can either be yes or no. All right. Charlie, developing time management, goal setting, confidence, nugget. So are you saying that developing time management and goal setting will give you confidence? Where's Charlie at? Charlie, your screen went blank.
Yeah, I know. I just had surgery, so I'm like kind of laying down. So
that's fine. No, I just want to make sure you can still hear. So can you say, so you developing time management and developing goal setting and developing confidence, or could you elaborate on that real quick?
You said developing time management, goal setting, and confidence in your reps through PDI and the interaction daily.
I love it, yeah. And there's so many ways you can look at that, because if you think about it, confidence is a byproduct of activities. So some people who have confidence that aren't actually doing things, like you would call that arrogance or ignorance. Oh, I'm going to totally crush that. I'm not even worried about it. Like, but you didn't study at all. Yeah, it's going to be easy. It's kind of an arrogant person. Or it's like, I'm going to fail this test. Well, you haven't even studied for it yet. Like the test is in two weeks. Like, I know I'm just going to fail. I feel it. That's an ignorance. So the way to develop the true confidence is to continuously do things. So I'm going to sit down. I'm going to goal set. And then through that goal of what I want to accomplish, I'm going to manage my time effectively. And then as a byproduct of doing those activities, you develop confidence. So for somebody to tell you that you can't do something and they've never done it, ignorance. For somebody to tell you that you can do something but they've never done it, kind of an arrogant way. You want to be careful of that. I'm not calling them arrogant people. I'm saying they're acting with a little bit of arrogance. Do you see the difference there? Great. Thank you for that. Okay, Patrick again, absolutely nugget. Calling on other people to teach other people. Patrick, can you go ahead and elaborate on that real quick, what you mean?
Yeah, so when you were talking about like during a team meeting, that team meeting culture, when you were saying that it's great because you could ask, you know, blank who just sold 3K in a weekend or blank who just sold 3K in a week and be like, hey, how did you do that? And then that's also a great tie-in when she's like, oh yeah, I just PDI'd and I did this or that and that. And it's great because it's kind of like sometimes you got to take a bite of the bacon before you go back to the pancakes.
Yeah.
Like they'll teach you like you teach your kids all the time, but sometimes if they hear it from a different voice, I think that's also a great way to teach you too, especially if it's someone on their level.
Everybody understand that, what he's saying? So my recognition, believe it or not, was recognition and instruction at the same time. So when you came to my team meeting, I would have certificates, I would have pins. But recognition to me was the most planned of my entire meeting. When I was new, I used to write 45-minute wrap-up speeches. We wouldn't do a phone jam. We would do meetings from 9 to 10:30. Wouldn't do a phone jam. We would teach them all the stuff, and then at 9:45 to 10:30, I would give it a wrap-up, like an amazing wrap-up, at least I thought. And guess what? Everyone got super fired up to go to Applebee's. And then somebody was like, well, why do you do your meetings at 9 to 10:30? I'm like, because my manager taught me how to do it. He's like, have you ever thought about doing it from 7 to 9? And then like during that time, you have a phone jam. And then during that phone jam, they create demos. And then you wrap up and then go to Applebee's and they actually have work produced with results and effort. And now they're excited to go out. And I'm like, no. He's like, you should consider that. And that person's name was Drew Frank. This was 8 years ago. This is Drew Frank before Drew Frank became Drew Frank. You know, he was always Drew Frank. So check this out. When I'm doing my team meetings, here's a little bit of a nugget for you. Obviously, talk to your assistant, your districts before you do this. I would utilize FYI, welcome to the meeting. We're excited. Here's our theme. Everyone's got green on today, code green, because it's ready to go. When we're at a stoplight and it turns green, you don't look around to see what the other person's doing. You go. And that's the theme for today. It's code green. And that's why everyone wear green in. And that would be the theme of the meeting. And we would tie in everyone around it about what the theme is, where we're going, what our goals are. And people are like, yeah. They got the one person who's wearing pink in the back of the room, or he's wearing red over there. And it's like, you haven't called them for PDI. How'd you know? You're the only one not wearing green. And you can just tell the culture of people in there. All right, then I jump into recognition. And I'm talking 20 minutes of recognition where it's like, all right, awesome. John went out there last week and sold $2,200. John, what'd you do? And John's like, oh, I don't know, I did like 10 demos. And, oh, that Saturday phone jam, I came in and I did things then. I'm like, John, did anybody pick up? Like, yeah, 4 people picked up. Awesome. So, John, you think you're going to come in again in the future to Saturdays? I'm never going to miss another one. And one other person goes, I'm going to come in on Saturday. And then guess what? The next meeting, you can say, so John came in last Saturday, and then Ryan came in this week, and then Marlena came in this week. Next thing you know, you got a culture of people coming in. You promote from the group. And then next day, PDI, you solidify. So, hey, can I see you on Saturday at Phone Jam? If your schedule's not lined up by Friday night at 9, can I see you on Saturday at 9? Are you that committed to it? And if they show up, cool. And if not, no worries. But you hold them to an accountability. So from recognition, ready, you promote all these things. How are people feeling, by the way, after recognition? If you do it the right way and you're introduced and it's just you got to say things, does everybody feel pretty good? What do you want to be the most productive thing after? What's the most productive thing to do then after somebody feels really good? Go ahead, John. Is it Sadowski?
Sadowski.
Sadowski, excuse me.
I was going to say phone jam.
Phone. They are on a high. They just got recognized. They did hey, you got 7 recommendations. Daniel, 12 recommendations last week. Dude, that's fantastic. And Daniel's like, well, I wasn't going to come to today's meeting, but then I showed up and I got recognized. And you know what? Life seems pretty good. Now we're going to go into phone jam, and this is where the magic happens. So if you weren't recognized this week for what you want it to be, this is how you do it. And you take that energy and push them into a phone jam. But if they walk in dead, you got to warm up. But if they walk in at 6:45 for a phone jam and the meeting starts at 8, but there's no prep to it, you're just assuming that they're coming in the right way. Imagine if you set your people up the right way, that when they come in, they can phone, but here's where the team's going. This is our theme. This is our color. Let's recognize the team last week. It's amazing how we feel. We feel fantastic. Cool. Let's jump into phone time. This is the most productive thing you can do all week. You put goals up on the board, and then guess what you can do when people are doing phone jams? You walk around to each and every person and have mini PCs. You can have the next 30 minutes of one-on-one or 2 minutes of one-on-one recognition 30 times over. Even if you have 10 people, visit 10 people 3 times. The phone jam is work. Just out of curiosity, how do you feel that could impact your business if you're doing it the right way for people, using energy, not manipulation, using pure energy? How do you feel that would educate, or how do you feel that would evolve your business? And that's rhetorical because there's 27 people on this, but you could also do thumbs up. Like, that makes sense? Cool. All right. We got Miranda Nugget. Got this from Shelby, branch manager, professional repeater. Miranda, awesome. But be a professional repeater for them. Now, guys, I've told you again. Guys, I've said this a million times. You got a phone jam. I've said it 100. Why aren't you doing it? It's like, because you're being a meanie head. Like, be nice. Teach us stuff. Professional repeater for them. Austin, is it Hider or Heater?
It's Hider.
Where is it?
Hider.
Hider. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Oh, no. I just put in there when you were wrapping up the recruiting process document, you said these 2 things will drive the business, and followed it up with how our perception changes that. What were those 2 points? I wanted to write them down.
Yeah. So if you looked at the report here, you would go through, okay, these right here. There is the recruiting. You have control of that daily. And then from that recruiting, you ramp into interview, which ramps into training, which ramps into the development. So it's not like, what I don't want you focusing on, Austin, is like, how do I submit base pay? How do I do this minuscule thing that's going to be 10 minutes of your week, when those are the 4 KRAs, the 4 key result areas? I'd rather have you focus your time on those 2 things. And if you focus on any of those 2 things, it's the front end recruiting to drive touches, and then it's developing your people on the back end. I'm not saying interview and training is not important, but you can drive more influence on the front end to increase that funnel, your interview, your training, and then PDI, team meetings. So I hope I answered your question.
Kind of. I mean, I have that sheet. I have all that filled out. There was just, right when you were wrapping up, before you started going through everybody's nuggets, you said these 2 things will drive your business. And then you said your perception of how you see it is whether a mountain or a molehill.
Yeah, I got you. I guess if I were to go back, if I could retract and think, it'd be if you were to focus on your PDI and then your team meetings, like your PDI daily and your weekly team meetings. If you focus on those 2 for development, you're going to have a great summer. And then maybe as a veteran, you could then go on to like PCs with more people, but you don't want to stretch yourself too thin at the expense of a PDI and team meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
As we approach here, the 5 o'clock range, I'm going to just go through and read it. Marlena, how to decrease overwhelmness is to increase awareness. Love it. Follow the process. Ashlyn. Anybody get a thumbs up from Ashlyn? Cool. Quality, not just qualified. Love it. Is it Corey? Nugget, drive PDI through genuine conversation. Isn't it amazing? We can think about your manager. He or she, did they sound like you were the only person they spoke to? And like you just felt a huge connection? Have you ever spoken to your manager when you felt like you were the only person that they weren't speaking to? It was like they're just going through robotic mode. Like imagine each and every phone call you just go, hey, how are you? I'm glad you called. I've been looking forward to having a conversation with you, and like genuinely meaning it. And it's like, how do you do it with your demos? You've done the demo 30 times for a push week. How can you make that demo be the demo? You've had 30, but they've only had this one. So make that count. Ashlyn, Nugget, attitude is based upon perception. Love it. And lastly, Austin, when you're wrapping up, okay, I got you. Austin, I'd love to have another call with you or talk with you and follow through with that. Okay, so guys, as we begin up here, I just wanted a couple of last thoughts. Thank you for your energy and time into this. This is a front load on the front end. No matter where you are, if you wrote down 2s and 3s and 4s and 6s, the best thing you have going for right now is time, effort, and a support system. And the most important one is what you choose to do with your effort. I'm here. You've got your DM. You've got other people around you. You've got your DVM. I just know that there's a support system there. Even if you think that you don't have people out there for you, 100% people are there. I want you to think of being on a crusade in the next few weeks. And if you put in the extra time, I promise you good things are going to happen. Maybe not perfect, maybe not immaculate, maybe not guaranteed, amazing results, but you're going to get results. You are in control 100% of what you do. Your attitude, your actions, your mentality, but this does not mean you're a perfect species. The better in control you are, the more influence you can have upon others. If you want people to act a certain way, act that way. If you want people to do certain things, do that certain thing. And if you want people to be a certain way, be that certain way. If you want to ask some additional questions or follow up, I'm more than happy to do it. My email address is pretty simple, and I'll give that to you. Ask your DM. Most likely, if you're in the Midwest or Northeast, they have it. In the Central region, I know Dane Escobar pretty well. I'm actually going to put it in the group chat, but it is JFIACCO. JFIACCO at cutco.com. I'm saying this genuinely. I will 100% respond to you. It may not be today, but if you can allow me some grace of like a 48-hour window, and then I will get to you in the next few weeks with a 15 to 30-minute follow-up of a one-on-one, and I will follow through up with you. I promise. I will follow through. I won't throw up on you. I'll follow through with you. Patience is a virtue, everyone, and I love the attention from what I can see from people. You're taking rigorous notes. Your energy is intoxicating in such a great way. Have patience in this process. This is not supposed to be easy. That's why you're a branch manager. You're not doing the BM thing. You're a branch manager, and that's powerful. Even if I've never met you, even if I haven't seen you, just by being here today and being on this call, I appreciate you all. I appreciate your efforts, what you've done. I appreciate currently what you're doing, but I'm just really excited about what you're about to do. Just embarking on an amazing summer that's going to be something you've never done before. So I'll be there to support you. You've got my email, and then we'll be able to talk more of a one-on-one. Please reach out. Do not be that person to say, well, if I reach out, will you really reach out to me? Yeah, I will. I'm really serious about that. I've been here for 10 years. I know what it's like to go home with tears in my eyes and punch my wall. Don't do that. I also know what it's like to bring my dad on a trip to Italy that I won through the company and then have my dad cry when we're walking through the town of where his grandparents were born. I've experienced both, so I can give you some passion or some support or some direction either way, whether it's emotional or whether it's directional or instructional. So thanks for your time. Thanks for all that you do. I'm looking forward to catching up with you. Please reach out if you'd like to. If it's not me, reach out to somebody. but you have support out there. So have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Thanks, John.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Yep. See you, everyone.
See you
Thanks
guys.
a lot. Take it easy.
All right, I'm going to stop the video.